Morning, everyone. We're going to restring the trampoline today because it keeps breaking. Well, the line does. The trampoline's fine because it's a really good quality trampoline. But the line is old, hasn't been replaced in 5 or 6 years, so we're going to restring it today. And probably tomorrow because it's going to be quite the process. But I'll bring you along, show you some knots, show you how I do it. Actually, I'm going to be kind of figuring it out as I go because I've never done one, but it doesn't look too terribly difficult. I'm sure we'll figure it out. Let me show you a handful of the bad spots and what old Dyneema line looks like, and then we'll do a bit of time lapse, and in the process of the time lapse I'll show you guys some of the knots that I use and the stringing process. We're basically just going to follow the pattern that's already here. It's a pretty good pattern, works well, so nothing too terribly crazy, although I'm sure it will be quite time consuming because I'm gonna have to go through each one of these grommets and pull 140 feet of line through each grommet until we start getting further along and the line starts getting shorter. So that should be should eat up quite a bit of time. Let me show you some of these bad spots. So right here you can see I've already made a couple of repairs where someone put their foot through the other day on a charter. And then right here you can kind of see those worn spots. These spots were inside of here, and they've been chafing pretty bad over the years. They're still in okay shape, but it's time to, I take clients out on this boat quite a lot and do quite a bit of charters, so we certainly don't want anybody getting hurt or falling in the water, which, you know, whatever. I think it'd be kind of funny, but maybe they wouldn't. So yeah, let me set you guys up on a time lapse and we'll get started. Right. Well, we got to start somewhere. I suppose this is as good a spot as any. I'm going to choose to start right here, similar to what they did, except for they just have a loop here. But I'm going to start right here because it's going to be, Dyneema line doesn't hold a knot very well. I'm going to do a bow line on here. But if I did the bow line kind of around one of these loops, it has a possibility of coming off, especially before I get everything stretched tight. And this thing's kind of sagged a little bit. I'm going to try to get it stretched a bit tighter than what they currently have going on and get rid of all the mess like this. This is done periodically, oh, I don't know, in about probably 6 or 7 different places. So we'll get started right here, and then we'll start this pattern all the way around. So yeah, let's get started here. I'll go ahead and video this one. I'll show you a bow line in case there's people out there that don't know what it is. Pretty easy knot to work with. Strong. That off. I think I got line one size too big, so we'll see how this works out. I believe this is 5mm line, and I think what I got was 6mm. I had to order it in. Either this stuff originally started out as 6, or and just kind of compressed and stretched with the sun over time, maybe, or yeah, it looks like the same. It just feels bigger. Maybe it's because it's pretty new. Who knows? Start at this corner. So we'll come in, come up to this guy. And so a bow line knot, and I'm going to use my line burning tool later on to finish this off really nicely. I'll show you that a bit later. So a bow line, you simply just want to make a loop, yeah, just like that. You're going to go in the loop and around this line, and then back out the same way you went in. And it ends up looking something like that. Well, not something like that, exactly like that. However, I'm going to shorten this up just a bit. So good. Yeah, I think this will be a good starting point right here. This should work out nicely. We'll slide that guy right there. Do a bit of a stretch there. We'll get this party started. Yeah, let's just work through maybe the first weave together. I suppose you'd call that a weave. I don't know what you'd call it, but let's work through the first one together. Looks like maybe I could just work this loose. Yeah. See if I can do this. Anybody want to take a bet on how many times I fall in the water doing this whole thing? Who knows? Should be pretty entertaining. Maybe I should not sit on the trampoline while doing this. Oh yeah, look at those spots. Pretty rough shape. Yeah. Probably wasn't gonna hold up a whole heck of a lot longer. So this is where things are gonna get tricky. I now have to go grab this line that I bought. It's 140 feet long. So that means I'm gonna have to go get the other side and send it through here and send all of that 140 feet through here. It's gonna be quite the process. Yeah, maybe you can kind of see the pattern right here. Maybe in the interest, you know what, I'll do one sped up and then we'll do a time lapse on it, in the interest of video time. So yeah. This is going to be really tough by myself to stretch this and keep tension on it while I string everything. It'll be quite tough. Guess we'll figure it out though. So this one will have to go in, then back around into the next one to create this triangle here. So you're around. Yep, that should be it. Okay, let's do the other side. up. Should work. Yeah, see, this line's not fitting between those very well. Sort of. I think we're just going to have to pull it really tight. Probably should have got just a little one size smaller, probably 5mm instead of 6. That would have been a little bit smarter. We'll see how it works out. Let me set you guys up on a time lapse and then we'll get going with it. Alright, let me show you guys something. I messed up. I did in fact get the line too big. You see how you have a line, you have a section of line that goes through your grommet and then it wraps around and then goes back down to this grommet and then one side goes to that grommet. So that's 2 wraps that's inside this whatever you want to call that. With this bigger line, it is a 6mm line and I'm pretty sure this is 5mm. So by the time I was doing 2 loops over there, it was too big, and I'll show you. I can kind of take this one loose and I'll show you here. I need to clean that up a little bit. So by the time one loop is fine, fits in there really nicely, but then when you try to do a second loop through there, it's not in there very well, and I think it would be better to go ahead and wait, order some 5mm line. That way it's done correctly and you don't risk that chance of what happens when you're in kind of rough seas, or if the wind's blowing really hard. This whole trampoline kind of flops up and down just a little bit. It kind of does this number, and when it blows up like that, it unloads these quite a lot. And I think what would end up happening is it would unload it. I don't know if I would get it stretched tight enough to where that didn't happen. I don't think so. And so I think what could potentially happen is that back loop could kind of pop right off of there, and we don't want that. So yeah, I messed up. It happens. We'll just order some new line and stick with what we got for a little bit. Oh, y'all can see how kind of old this stuff is. It's not stretched super tight. It just kind of pops right off of there. So yeah, to be continued. Probably in about 3 weeks, because that's how long it took to get this line. Anyways, yep, we'll finish this up when I get the new stuff.